Hello dear student, a very good morning. After completion of pharmaceutical legislation, generally healthcare system in India, ethics of pharmacists, and now we are towards the next important chapter, which is also one of the favorite chapter of various examiner, that is Pharmacy Act 1948. In this act, we are going to deliver with the content various points which are necessary to be studied in the chapter. That is, what do you mean by pharmacy? What is the aim and object of the chapter? Why this act is formulated according to the Drug Bills Act. Generally, is possession of various acts so as to run the profession of pharmacy or so as to require having a clear and ideas regarding the explanation of healthcare system, regarding the social responsibilities. Formulation of Pharmacy Act is completed in 1948. In the chapter we have started with the explanation of aim and object of this chapter. Again the explanation of history of this act. Various definitions which are necessary to be covered under the chapter. Again the explanation of Pharmacy Council of India, State Pharmacy Council, as well as the special provision of this act, preparation of first register, second register, subsequent register, explanation of offences and penalties, education regulation, as well as the explanation of various offences and penalties is included in this chapter. So, our first important explanation, that is introduction of this Pharmacy Act 1948. Generally, before independence, there were no regulation for the profession and practice of pharmacy. Anyone, the person which is not a professional, which is not completed a minimum course so as to dispense the drug, till that he is dispensing the drug. The person which has the dispensing the drug is not having the quality, till that various hazards to the health is arising by dispensing such a person the medicine. So it is necessary to prevent the various harms for the health of public, as well as to prevent the various offences which might to be completed, might to be covered under this dispensing of compounding and dispensing of medicine. So that by taking all this consideration, the Drug Enquiry Committee recommended that the person practicing pharmacy, that is, means the person who is responsible for compounding and dispensing of medicine, should have a proper educational background. That is, due to that, the superior quality of drug should be dispensed and hazards to the health of public should be avoided. With this intention, the Health Survey and Development Committee also have a recommendation to constitute a Pharmacy Act which is necessary for the public, and with this intention, this Pharmacy Act came into the force in March 1948, where now in today's lecture we will going to see the explanation of various types of definitions which are necessary to be covered under the case of Pharmacy Act 1948. So now our first aim of this object is that the Pharmacy Act 1948 is passed with the main object to regulate the profession and practice of pharmacy and to raise the status of profession of pharmacy in India. What is the main object of Pharmacy Act? That is, Pharmacy Act came into the force, or Pharmacy Act possessed in 1948 in March 1948, and generally with the main object to regulate the profession and practice of pharmacy and to raise the status of profession of pharmacy in India. Generally, to achieve this object, the Act provides the constitution how one should have regulate the profession of pharmacy in India, how to raise the status of this profession in India. One should have necessary to formulate such a committees which will decide the status of profession of pharmacy in India. To achieve this object, this Act provides for the constitution of Pharmacy Council of India, that is also known as the Central Council, and which is responsible for providing educational standards and regulation for the diploma courses of pharmacy through education regulation. The Act, in addition to Central Council, provide the Constitution of State Pharmacy Council as well as the Joint State Pharmacy Council. According to that, the various activities, various functions assigned to these constitutions, assigned to these committees, as necessary to be completed by these various committees which are formulated under the Pharmacy Act 1948. Now we are again going to start this explanation, that is, generally the Pharmacy Act came into the force in March 1948 with the main object that to regulate the profession and practice of pharmacy in India, as well as to raise the status of profession of pharmacy in India. Why it is necessary to formulate this act? Because generally before independence, there were no certain such regulations which control the various activity associated with compounding and dispensing of medicine, and so that generally various poor qualities of services should be provided. Absence of any one person who has not pharmacist, still he is developing, dispensing, compounding the various types of substances which may be termed as a drug to the patient, means absence of recognized curriculum, the very poor quality of services where the drug is manufactured at any place, there is no such negligence of health, there is no sanitation, there is no cleanliness, different types of criteria are there. Till poor quality of services should be provided, as well as early 20th century, no restriction to the practice of any one person. There is no restriction that particularly the pharmacist, only the pharmacist should possible to dispense and drug. There was no such a recognition, no such a restrictions, and so that due to the poor quality of services, due to the no restriction to the practice of pharmacy, due to the absence of recognized curriculum, that leads to provide a great harm to the health of the people of the society, and so that it is necessary that to provide or to formulate such a type of act which should have certain control over the compounding, manufacturing and dispensing of such a medication to the patient here itself. Now we are told us the important definition. That is, first important definition is Central Council. The Central Council, generally the Pharmacy Council of India, is known as a Central Council. What do you mean by Central Council? The Pharmacy Council of India is known as a Central Council. The second important definition, that is Central Register. Register of a pharmacist maintained by the Central Council is known as a Central Register here itself. What is it? The register of a pharmacist maintained by the Central Council is known as a Central Register. Now our next important definition, that is medical practitioner. What is it? A medical practitioner. That is, we are known as a registered medical practitioner, which is also known as a RMP. In general, we will call as him. That is doctor or physician here itself. Generally, the registered medical practitioner, there are three subclauses to whom you can call as a registered medical practitioner. In surrounding, we are observing that till that person is pursuing only for such a courses till not completed his complete course of duration of his not completed the duration of course, till that he or she is recognized as a doctor in society. But until and unless the name of that person should not enter into the register of medical practitioner, into the register of Medical Council of India, he or she should not be recognized as a doctor or as a registered medical practitioner here itself. So that generally, to whom you can call as a registered medical practitioner, the first important point, a person holding a qualification granted by an authority specified under the Section 3 of Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916, or a person holding a qualification specified in the schedule of Indian Medical Council Act 1956 is known as a registered medical practitioner. To whom you can call a person holding a qualification. Which qualification? The qualification which are prescribed by the two acts. First is Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916 or Indian Medical Council Act 1956. Means any person who is holding a qualification which is granted by an authority or specified under the Section 3 of, that is granted by an authority, or having a qualification which are specified under the Act Section 3 of the Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916 or Indian Medical Council or any other qualification which is mentioned in Indian Medical Degrees Act 1956, Indian Medical Council Act 1956 is known as a registered medical practitioner. Second important point, a person registered or eligible for registration in a medical register of a state, meant for registration of a person practicing in modern scientific system of medicine. A person registered, to whom you can call as a registered medical practitioner, that is second important, a person registered or eligible for registration. First important thing that he will be registered or eligible, already he is registered or eligible for registration, having a complete qualification, complete duration of course is completed, all this thing is there, and where he is practicing in modern scientific system of medicine and already registered or eligible for registration is known as a medical practitioner. The third important point, a person registered in a medical register of a state who, although not following subclause which is explained under the first and second, but declared by a general or special order made by the state government in behalf of that person practicing the modern scientific system of medicine for the purpose of this act. Okay. What will be the third important clause regarding to whom you can call as a registered medical practitioner? That is, third important clause is that the person First, that is holding a qualification granted by an authority having the Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916 or Indian Medical Council Act 1956, or otherwise a person whose name is registered in a registered medical practitioner, or a person who is eligible for registration in the register of registered medical practitioner and practicing in modern method of system of medicine is known as. Third important, till that a person does not follow subclause which is prescribed in A or B in above these two clauses, till that person is not having any qualification, till that his name is not entered, but any one of the special case which is considered, or a person having the declared or having special provision is made by that person, and state government recommending that person to be considered as a medical practitioner, as that on the behalf of state government, that person who is practicing modern system of method, modern scientific method or system of medicine for the purpose of this act is considered as a medical practitioner. And the last important clause of this definition is that a person who is engaged in a practice of veterinary medicine and not possesses, and a person who engaged in a practice of veterinary medicine and who possesses the qualification approved by the state government is considered as a medical practitioner here itself. Means till you are getting which four requirements are essential to be known as a physician, to be known as a doctor, or to be known as a registered medical practitioner. The first important qualification, that is person holding a qualification granted by an authority under the section 3 of Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916 or a specific schedule completed under the Indian Medical Council Act 1956, or a person eligible or a person already engaged in a already entered in a medical register of a state for the registration of a person, as well as practicing in modern scientific system of medicine, or a person registered in a medical register who, although not following subclause, that is first and second, but practicing in modern, which is approved by the practicing in modern method scientific system of medicine approved or claimed as a special provision by the state government, has considered as a registered medical practitioner, or any other person who engaged in the practice of veterinary medicine as possesses qualification approved by the state government, has considered as a registered medical practitioner. So here the next important definition, registered pharmacist. Same already we have completed about the registered medical practitioner. Now we are towards the explanation of registered pharmacist, to whom you can call as a pharmacist until and unless you are not completing the course and minimum training which is prescribed according to the Pharmacy Council of India. You are not supposed as a pharmacist. So registered pharmacist, a person whose name for the time being is entered in the register of pharmacists of state, and who is for the time being residing or carrying his profession or business of pharmacy, is known as a registered pharmacist. What is it? To whom you can call as a registered pharmacist? A person whose name for the time being is entered in the register of pharmacists of the state, or and in which he is for the time being residing or carrying his profession or business of pharmacy. ऑलरेडी त्याचं नाव एंटर झालेलं आहे रजिस्टरमध्ये आणि तो काय करतोय, बिझनेस करतोय किंवा प्रोफेशन करतोय फार्मसीशी रिलेटेड. दॅट इज टाइम बिंग रिसाइडिंग, राहतोय तिथे, करतोय ते काम. दॅट इज नोन ॲज अ रजिस्टर्ड फार्मासिस्ट. Now the next important definition, always it is asked, what do you mean by displaced person? What do you mean by repatriate? So now the first important, that is displaced person. The word itself explains that displaced म्हणजे काय आहे की ज्याला काढून दिलं, इथून घालवलंय, डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. अ पर्सन, बघा आता डेफिनेशन काय डिफरन्स आहे दोघांमध्ये. रिपॅट्रिएट अँड डिस्प्लेसमध्ये काय डिफरन्स आहे, सीन विथ द complete explanation. Here, a person who on account of setting off of the dominance of India and Pakistan or account of civil disturbances or fear of such a disturbances in area now forming a part of Pakistan has on or after the first day of March 1947 left or been displaced from his place of residence in such an area and who has since then been residing in India is generally known as a displaced person. दोन subclause आहेत. Another subclause, any person who on account of civil disturbances or fear of such a disturbances in any area now forming a part of Bangladesh has or after the 14th day of April 1957 but before the 15th day of March 1971 left or has been displaced from his place of residence in such area and who has since then been residing in India is known as a displaced person. आता खूप व्यवस्थित लक्ष देऊन ऐका दोघांमध्ये काय कसं झालंय की that is this act formulated freshly whenever there is having our independence, India independent. So generally 1947 मध्ये आपल्याला स्वातंत्र्य मिळालं आणि हे ॲक्ट 1948 मध्ये फॉर्म्युलेट झालं. मग कायद्याप्रमाणे आता डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन कोणाला म्हणायचं, तर त्याने जनरली दोन देशांचा जो रहिवासी होता की काय झालंय की ज्याला इथून काढून दिलं गेलं तरी सुद्धा तो परत इथे येऊन राहतोय, त्याला काय म्हटलं जातं, डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. की कुठल्या कुठल्या देशांमध्ये आणि कुठल्या कुठल्या तारखेनंतर. जनरली काय कशामुळे, अ पर्सन हू ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सेटिंग ऑफ डोमिनन्स, म्हणजे इथला रहिवासी दाखला तो देऊ शकला नाही, और पाकिस्तानचा रहिवासी दाखला देऊ शकला नाही, और काही नागरिकांचं डिस्टर्बन्सेस त्याला झाला किंवा त्याला भीती वाटत होती. कधी, जनरली आता तो कुठला पार्ट झाला आहे, तो पाकिस्तानचा पार्ट झालेला आहे. समजा की काय होतं, एखादा पर्सन कदाचित भीतीमुळे, रहिवासीपणाचा दाखला न मिळाल्यामुळे किंवा इंडिया पाकिस्तानच्या फाळणीच्या वेळी जनरली डिस्टर्बन्सेसला घाबरून जो आता कोणाचा पार्ट झालेला आहे, पाकिस्तानचा पार्ट झालेला आहे, की जो पाकिस्तानचा नागरिक झालेला आहे, कधी किंवा कधीपासून किंवा केव्हाच्या सुरुवातीच्या अगोदरपासून, दॅट इज फर्स्ट डे ऑफ मार्च 1947. म्हणजे ज्या माणसाला काही सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेसमुळे 1 मार्च 1947 पासून तो राहणारा एरिया त्याने सोडलेला आहे आणि तो आता कुठे होता, पाकिस्तानचा नागरिक झालेला आहे, परंतु त्याच्या राहण्याच्या जागेवरनं त्याला हाकलून देण्यात आलं होतं, त्याला काढून देण्यात आलं होतं. तरीसुद्धा 1 मार्च 1947 नंतर त्याने पाकिस्तानात राहणं गरजेचं होतं, पण त्याच्यानंतरसुद्धा तो परत येऊन इंडियात भारतात राहतोय त्या पर्सनला म्हटलं जात असतं की डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. दॅट इज, परत एकदा वाचते तो सगळं लक्ष देऊन आहे का. अ पर्सन हू ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सेटिंग ऑफ डोमिनन्स ऑफ इंडिया अँड पाकिस्तान, की कुठलंही अँड अकाउंट ऑफ सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेस, की सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेस झाले, or fear of such disturbances now forming a part of Pakistan. आता कोणाचा भाग बनला आहे तो पाकिस्तानचा. कधीपासून? 1 मार्च 1947 लेफ्ट, और त्याला काढून दिलं होतं त्याच्या जागेवरनं फ्रॉम हिज प्लेस ऑफ रेसिडेन्स. समजा तो भारतात राहत होता परंतु तो पाकिस्तानचा रहिवासी म्हणून त्याला पाकिस्तानमध्ये पाठवण्यात आलं होतं. कधीपासून? 1 मार्च 1947 पासून. तरीसुद्धा तो तिथल्या डिस्टर्बन्सेस म्हणामुळे कशामुळे म्हणा ते सोडून तो परत कुठे आला आहे? भारतात येऊन राहतोय. त्याला काय म्हटलं जात असतं? डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. सेकंड, कुठल्या पर्सनला आपण अजून डिस्प्लेस पर्सन म्हणू? अ पर्सन on account of civil disturbances or fear of such disturbances now. आता कोणाचा भाग बनला आहे? की बांगलादेश, म्हणजे जो बांगलादेशचा नागरिक झाला होता. कधीपासनं? 14 एप्रिल 1957. जो पाकिस्तानचा, जो इंडियात राहत होता, देश स्वतंत्र व्हायच्या वेळी जो भारतात होता, परंतु जेव्हा देश स्वतंत्र झालं, फाळणी झाली, जेव्हा तो पाकिस्तानचा नागरिक म्हणून डिस्प्लेस केला गेला. कधी? 1 मार्च 1947 पासून. तरीसुद्धा तिथल्या डिस्टर्बन्सेसला घाबरून म्हणा काही कारणामुळे त्याला इथून काढून पाकिस्तानात जा असं सांगण्यात आलं. तरीसुद्धा तो परत येऊन आपल्या देशात राहतो. त्याला काय म्हटलं जात असतं? डिस्प्लेस पर्सन. आणि 25 मार्च 1971 पर्यंत, कधीपर्यंत? 14 एप्रिलपासून, 14 एप्रिल 1957 पासून जो माणूस भारतात राहत होता परंतु तेव्हापासून जो बांगलादेशचा नागरिक झाला, दॅट इज 14 एप्रिल 1957 कुठपर्यंत? मार्च 1971 पर्यंत त्याला बांगलादेशाचं नागरिकत्व होतं. तरीसुद्धा तो बांगलादेशमध्ये न राहता आपल्या भारतात येऊन राहत आहे. अशा लोकांना काय म्हटलं जात असतं? डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन म्हटलं जात असतं. लक्षात ठेवा. कुठल्या कुठल्या देशाचं नागरिकत्व सांगितलं मी? पाकिस्तान आणि बांगलादेश. जर पाकिस्तान असेल की ज्याला देश स्वतंत्र झाल्यावर पाकिस्तानचं नागरिक म्हणून डिक्लेअर केलं गेलं. कधी? 1 मार्च 1947 साली. आणि त्याला सांगण्यात आलं की पाकिस्तानमध्ये राहा, तरीसुद्धा तो परत येऊन भारतात राहायला लागला. त्याला काय सांगितलं गेलं? डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. सेकंड, 14 एप्रिल 1957 पासून जो बांगलादेशचा नागरिक होता, त्यानंतर काही कारणामुळे सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेस झाल्यामुळे तो परत येऊन भारतात राहत आहे. त्याला काय म्हटलं गेलं आहे? दॅट इज डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. राहील लक्षात हे डेफिनेशन. आता नेक्स्ट इम्पॉर्टंट डेफिनेशन, रिपॅट्रिएट. REPATRIATE, रिपॅट्रिएट. आता काय? अ पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन. काय? तो मूळ भारतातलाच आहे. ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेस इन एनी एरिया, कुठल्याही एरियात राहत होता आपल्या भारतातला. नाव, आता कोणाचा पार्ट बनला आहे? नाव द फॉर्मिंग द पार्ट ऑफ बर्मा, श्रीलंका और युगंडा or any other country after 14th April 1957 left or his place or has been displaced from his place of residence in such area who has since then been residing in India is known as a repatriate. आता नीट लक्षात ठेवा. एनी पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन, काय? जो भारताचा मूळचा रहिवासी होता. काय झालं की सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेसमुळे आता कोणाचा रहिवासी झालेला आहे? तो बर्मा, श्रीलंका और युगंडा और त्याच्यासारख्याच एखाद्या देशाचा. कधीपासून? 14 एप्रिल 1957च्या अगोदरपासून त्याच्या एरियातनं त्याला काढून टाकण्यात आलं होतं. कधी काढून टाकण्यात आलं होतं? 14 एप्रिल 1957. जरी भारताचा मूळचा नागरिक होता तरी किंवा त्याने सोडलं असेल त्याचा एरिया. आणि आता कुठला नागरिक झालेला आहे तो? बर्मा, श्रीलंका और युगेंडा या एखाद्याचा. आणि त्याला त्याच्या जागेवरनं काढून तिथलं नागरिकत्व मिळालं तरीसुद्धा तो तिथलं नागरिकत्व सोडून परत आपल्या देशात राहत आहे. त्याला म्हटलं जात असतं रिपॅट्रिएट. काय सांगितलं मी? आलं लक्षात? की पहिले 2 याच्यात काय डिस्प्लेस पर्सनला कुठून काढून देण्यात आलं होतं की इंडिया किंवा पाकिस्तानमधलं असं काही नव्हतं. तो कुठल्या तरी एका एरियात राहत होता. परंतु 1 मार्च 1947 पासून ज्याने पाकिस्तानचं नागरिकत्व ज्याला मिळालेलं होतं तरीसुद्धा ते सोडून तो परत भारतात राहायला आलेला आहे. त्याला डिस्प्लेस म्हटलं जात असतं. 14 एप्रिल 1997 पासून जो मूळचा भारतातलाच होता, परंतु 14 एप्रिल 1957 पासून जो बांगलादेशमध्ये राहायला गेला होता आणि जो बांगलादेश सोडून परत भारतात राहायला आला त्याला म्हटलं गेलं डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन. अँड रिपॅट्रिएट की जो मूळचा भारताचाच ओरिजिनचा होता, परंतु त्याने काय केलं आहे की 14 एप्रिल 1957 पासून कुठल्या देशाचा की काही सिव्हिल भीतीमुळे, काही सिव्हिल डिस्टर्बन्सेसमुळे त्याने कुठल्या देशाचं नागरिकत्व घेतलं? बर्मा, श्रीलंका, युगेंडा और एनी अदर सच कंट्री. त्यांचं नागरिकत्व त्याने घेतलं होतं, पण काही कारणामुळे तिथून त्याला डिस्प्लेस करण्यात आलं आणि तो परत येऊन भारतात राहायला लागला. त्याला काय म्हटलं जात असतं? रिपॅट्रिएट. दोघांच्या डेफिनेशनमधला फरक लक्षात घ्या. दॅट आता परत दोघं डेफिनेशन एकदा वाचते म्हणजे तुमच्या पूर्ण लक्षात येईल. अ पर्सन, आता डिस्प्लेस्ड पर्सन, अ पर्सन हू ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सेटिंग अप ऑफ डोमिनन्स ऑफ इंडिया अँड पाकिस्तान or on account of civil disturbances or fear of such disturbances in area now forming a part of Pakistan has on or after the first day of March 1947 left or has been displaced from his place of residence in such area and who has since then been residing in India is known as a displaced person. Second part, a person who on account of civil disturbances or fear of such disturbances in area now forming a part of Bangladesh has after 14th day of April 1957 but before 15th day of March 1971 left or has been displaced from his place of residence in such area and who has since then been residing in India is known as a displaced person. Here is repatriate, a person of Indian origin on account of civil disturbances in any area now forming a part of Burma, Sri Lanka or Uganda or any other country has after the 14th day of April 1957 left or has been displaced from his place of residence in such area who has since then been residing in India is generally known as repatriate. The next important definition, that is University Grant Commission. It means the University Grant Commission established under the Section 4 of the University Grant Commission Act 1956. That is, what do you mean by UGC grant? That is, University Grant Commission means University Grant Commission which is established under the Section 4 of the University Grant Commission Act 1956. Now the last definition from this chapter, that is Indian University. It means a university within the meaning of Section 3 of the University Grant Commission Act 1956 It includes such other institutions being established by under a central act of central government, maybe by notification in the official gazette specified in this behalf, is generally known as the Indian University. Now today we are observe what is the Pharmacy Act, why it is necessary to formulate this act, what is the object of this act, and what is the definition of central register, central council, registered medical practitioner, as well as registered pharmacist, displaced person, repatriate, university grant commission, as well as the Indian University. So student, once again revise all these points which are explained under this chapter. Now tomorrow we will focus a special attention on the Pharmacy Council of India, which is important one. So take care, bye, and study hard. पस्तीस मिनटं स्टॉप केलं मी ना.